This is hypnotic authenticity. This is a space for inner clarity, where hypnosis meets self-inquiry, where the stories that you carry can become gentle invitations for change. We're going to explore identity, emotional harmony, and authentic living through subtle, mindful approaches and a really, really good sprinkling of hypnosis. So take a slow, deep breath and let's begin.
I want to talk about play, because I think this is supremely important. So, why is play important? Why is play important? We are the product of our prior experiences, and those prior experiences are being created by chance. They're done at a very, very early age when we are powerless, and so we come to conclusions about them. So if you can imagine, you're a newborn baby, okay? You don't even have a concept of self. You don't know what ego is. You're almost like an expression of the universe. You are completely at one with all things, and you're starting to discover. And then gradually, as events occur, you build a sense of what it is to be you, what it is to be good, bad, approved of, disapproved of, right, wrong, pain, pleasure, all these things. So you start to layer the concepts of your self-identity. And the critical thing is that as this identity is created, we kind of attach to it. It feels like us. And with every nuance of our character that we give significance to, with every event that has an emotional spike attached to it, that gives us a learning event, that imprints upon our psyche, we are defining ourselves, and we end up being defined by that, because then what happens is every subsequent event is seen in the light of what we already know. And so we start off as a clean slate, but then as we build up this sense of our own self, of what it is to be us, everything that comes after that is seen through that, almost as if there is a protective filter around it. And our judgment says, does that feel like me? If so, let it in. Is that complete nonsense based upon everything that I know? If so, flick it off. And so we tend, over time, to compound what it is that we already know. We tend to look for experiences that relate to the things that we already know. We tend to find friends that think the way that we do. We tend to go and do activities and jobs that fit with what it is that we think we are. We find partners that are going to complement what it is that we think we are, that think in similar ways. End result, everyone kind of ends up being the product of the 7-year-old them. So at very, very young age, everything is to play for. But then as time goes by, you become more trapped inside the result of what you think you are. But these were all made of chance occurrences. So we kind of come to the conclusion that play is an extremely important thing for kids, because this is how you go out without condition and discover what you like, what you don't like, how you interact with other people, and so on and so on and so on. So why on earth we've decided that when you become an adult, when you become a sensible person, a responsible person, thou should not play? I don't know where that came along, you know? So here's the thing, okay? If you then extrapolate that going forward, play is an opportunity to shake that. It's the opposite of the prison of your mind. So the prison of your mind is created by the stories that we come to live our life by, the hooks by which we create our sense of reality. The way in which you relate to society and relate to yourself, if you relate to yourself at all, the way that you relate to your feelings, the way that life should unfurl versus the way that life is unfurling. That has all been created through these expectations, which have all themselves been created by these chance occurrences. And then suddenly, apparently, we stop playing. So you're stunting your own opportunity for future development is basically what I'm saying. So let's say what play isn't, okay? Play isn't booking yourself a deep sea diving course in order to fix your fear of the ocean. It's not hiking to the top of another mountain peak because you haven't done that one yet. These are things where we have decided inside of ourselves that they're good for us and that we should be able to do something, or that we want to be able to do something, and that therefore there is an element of success and failure. Throw all of that away. Play is for its own sake. Play is a state of abandon, okay? So the end result is that you discover things that you weren't expecting because the stakes are so low. You will permit. There is no should. There is no, oh, well, I ought to act in a certain way. Plus, you're also giving yourself this kind of inner acknowledgement that you deserve play. There is an inner child inside of us. It's not as if it suddenly goes away. So you're honoring yourself to a certain extent and kind of saying, I love you, right? I care for you. Go enjoy yourself. There's almost an act of becoming your own parent to a certain extent, right? To being the ultimate mega parent to yourself and saying, go on, little Chris, go play. It's a tremendous feeling. If you do that on a regular basis, you're basically telling yourself that you're a wonderful thing. You're a wonderful individual, that you deserve pleasure. You deserve fun. You deserve to play. Not everything has to be taken seriously. And go discover. The world is your oyster again. You capture some of that inner child, opportunistic freedom again. So be careful, okay? So don't even make play the vehicle for self-discovery. Don't become a self-discovery junkie. Because again, you're setting yourself up with an objective, which you then have to look at and say, well, so did I do that well or not? Did I have an aha moment? Did I wake up the following night in the midst of my dream and go, wow, that's incredible? Or did it turn out I didn't have a clue, right? Because most of this is going on in the back of your mind. It's not going on in the front. So you don't have to become aware of it all. The whole principle is that you're just letting things be, right? It's a wonderful way of creating a voyage of self-discovery, the end of which is that you come to re-establish or re-examine and then kind of bed down what it is that you are living your life by. And does that make sense anymore? To the point where the goal is no longer the goal. To the point where you're not even sure anymore of what it is to be you. That your sense of you is fluid, and the joy comes from the unfolding of life rather than necessarily the relentless setting of more and more goals, which is something that kind of occurs in adulthood. You know, it's like, well, if we're not doing it well enough, we should try harder. Play is saying, oh, forget about that. Go and do something else. You can look at this in a million different frames of reference, and an easy one is creativity. You can look at books like Harebrained Tortoise Mind or John Cleese's book Creativity. But basically what you're doing in creativity is amazing because you're allowing the magician inside your mind to come out with some crazy stuff. But then the useful thing of creativity is then bringing that back down to earth and coming up with something which is actually genuinely helpful. And so you bounce between your judgmental mind and your playful mind. And you do this, you iterate it, you do it a number of times. It's like, okay, so this is ridiculous. Is there anything I can learn from that? And then you go, well, yeah, actually, maybe we could do sort of that. And then you play with that. And then something else absurd comes up. And then there's a nugget inside of it. And you keep doing that, and you end up creating aluminium or whatever it may be, right? So the whole purpose is that you don't know what you don't know. And play is the way to create the environment in which, by sheer beautiful chance, the world will deliver stuff to you that you were unaware of. And so you expand as an individual. You become a bigger person. You know, part of me wants to say a wiser person, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. But you are expanded. And that's a tremendous feeling. The other thing, of course, about sheer abandonment in play is that it is a fantastic way of getting into a state of flow. It's a fantastic way of accessing your joy and your inner peace, because the stakes are so low, you're just permitting yourself to be. So that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I highly recommend, if you're finding that you've become too sensible, if you find that you are ruminating on things, throw it away for a moment and go play without any objective whatsoever and see what happens. Because the alternative is exhausting, it's tiring out, and it doesn't work particularly well. One of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting stuff to change. What you're doing in playing is doing anything but that, and then discovering what comes as a result. All right, I hope that helps. Cheers.
Thank you for listening. If it supported you in some way or helped you to question your inner experience, then follow the show. Personally, I would be really grateful if you might also leave a quick rating. It makes a huge difference in terms of discoverability, so that other people who might benefit can find the podcast. If you prefer a visual element, check out Authentic Life Hypnosis on YouTube. And if you're looking for deeper work beyond one-way audio yourself, you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Until next time,